Hello, team owners of the USFL 16-team league. This is highlights. I'm going to make a few announcements first. First off, the poll that we currently have. Guys, it doesn't take long to do this. Go and vote in the poll. There are three possible answers. I'm going to take what I feel like is the way that the poll is leaning and trim it down to two. There's 7 of you that haven't voted. Please do this. We need your vote to have a democratic way of evolving. It is a poll on the keepers, amount of keepers. So please take the time to do that. You're going and managing your team and moving your roster. Please do that. That is on the main league page, kind of, sort of to the right. There is a poll. There is league messages. You can leave league messages. In our 20-team league, of course, we've been in 6 seasons now. It's very active all the time. It makes the league better. It makes it more fun for the group. Look, you guys, we've explained this before, 16-team league, 20-team league. 20-team league is the primary league, has some USFL players, some broadcasters, sports writers, a lot of different type of guys. Everybody's like-minded for the USFL. You can stay in the 16-team league. We want the 16-team league to be a viable league as well, with kind of a different personality, maybe a few differences from the 20-team league. You can move up if that's your desire. You can stay in the 20-team league. I know some of you guys, at least half of you guys, probably want to stay in the 16-team league. Some of you have aspirations, and some of you maybe could take it or leave it. I'm not real sure. But please communicate those things with me as we go. And, your effort to vote in the poll is just showing that you have an interest. Also, there are trades that could occur. Make sure you vote in those. We've had some dilemmas in the 20-team league where maybe some trades got vetoed that seemed very fair. Some team owners are like, well, I don't want that guy to get that guy because then I have to play him twice because he's in my division. But that's no way to really vote, and it shouldn't be voted that way. So that's just a few things I wanted to discuss. Look, some of you guys are 0-5 this week. After 5 games, you're 0-5, a miserable start, I know. But I've looked at your divisions, and you guys are 3 back and 2 back from actually being in the front of the division with a lot of games left. So don't quit, guys. It is accumulation of moves. One injury can hurt a team in your division and give you a chance. Line them up. We are starting the spoiler award contest this week. It's week 6. On the main league page, I've got the top 8 board up. And so, if you are playing one of the top 8 board teams on a weekly basis, those 8 teams that are top 8 teams right now may not be next week. That's what the 6 is after each team right now. Is showing that in week 6, those teams were on the top 8 board. It's my way of record keeping to see how well you've done if you're in the bottom half there against those teams as the season progresses. I will pick a spoiler award winner at the end of the season that will be first to draft. A lot of, you always wonder in the real world, are these guys playing to be able to draft first? Well, they do. They do in the real world play for that. I don't allow that in this league. The one who plays the hardest actually down at the bottom, some of the unfortunate bottom guys that are, are going to be 3-10 or 4-9 or something like that. Just because you have the worst record does not mean that you get to draft first. I'm going to basically rank the bottom 3 or 4 on effort that I see, and those first 1, 2, 3, or 4 will be first to draft in next year's draft. So I think that's only fair. I try to be fair in everything I do, guys. Communication is really important to me. Make sure you communicate with me. As Kyle said, I'm watching all the time. I don't want to be on people's back, breathing down their back too much, but I want competition. I want everyone to be involved. If you're not going to be involved, let's just talk about it and we'll find a replacement. Tell me your level of involvement. Send me something, a personal message. Just tell me, hey, I do want to be in the 20-team league one day, or hey, I'm going to be back next year. Give your commissioner a little encouragement by telling me where you're at right now and where you want to go in the league. I'm excited to have all of you, and I don't want to scold anybody, but look, I want to say one more thing about this waiver wire. Look, I saw 2 or 3 guys that needed a tight end, and why you would wait till Sunday to pick your tight end when you got 16 team owners, any of which could get a second tight end, a valuable tight end, is beyond me. I can see you avoiding working the waiver wire now that it's moved to last after claim. I can see you saying, well, I'm not going to work the waiver wire, I'm just going to pick after the waiver wire. I can understand that and not use your waiver wire position. But to wait till Sunday to pick up a tight end that you need to fill when there's only 3 good tight ends and probably one of them's only got a good scenario and the other 2 really don't. Of course, it's always a crapshoot, but that kind of irritates me a little bit. So, it takes a second to go in there and shop and look. Maybe see, that guy picked up, you see the tight end that you looked at yesterday, and then they're not there today. And then you kind of look to see who picked them up and get to know what your enemy is doing, so to speak. So with all that said, I'm pleased otherwise. State of the league is great. I need to know where you all stand. I've had a couple of you to say, this is not maybe what I thought it was, and that's fine too. I just want you to communicate with me. I think one of those guys has backed out and decided he does want to play because I've put a lot of thought into this league, and it's not just my doing, even though some of it's my cause. It is a combination of everyone in the 20-team league that's made that happen and form the way it has. So you're playing in the replica, have the chance to move up. But here we go, highlights. Just going to call out a few key games this past week. Everybody knows what kind of happened, but Birmingham Stallions and Memphis Showboats. William Burkeen came out on top in that South battle. And other games of relevance, of real super relevance as far as divisional races. Michael Summers with the Philadelphia Stars is now 3-2, leads the Atlantic Division over the Boston Breakers owner Joey Maynard, who is also in the 20-team league. Michael Summers comes in at 3-2 going into this next week, and he's topping out there. I tell you, Kenneth Beatty with the Michigan Panthers, I thought was probably going to take the division easily in the Central. It's not happening that way. He's 3-2. Of course, Kyle's 5-0, but at the same time, there's a little bit of surprise in the fact that the Houston Gamblers, Bill Kellick's team, beating Michigan this week, is now 2-3, and he's in the mix too. So those are some good things that happen. LA Express won their first game. El Briscoe is the new team owner out at the LA Express. They take down the Arizona Wranglers. Kevin Perilou, who's also in the 20-team league, then was undefeated. Now Kevin is 4-1, knocks that down. So in that one game, guys, El Briscoe with LA Express went from 4 games back, of course, to 3 games back. And if Kevin slacks up any more, who knows? LA Express will be right in the mix. So that's the way it works in fantasy football in our league, especially when everybody plays and everybody plays hard. We're going into next week, the games that really matter, and I broke these down. The ones that are the most important games. Every game is important, guys. You know that. But Kevin with the Wranglers is 4-1. And he's playing Stephen Miller and the Invaders 3-2 to see who's going to lead the division out in the Pacific. Michael Summers, as I mentioned before, 3-2 with the Stars. He's playing Jose Plaza with the Generals, who I think is going to be competitive in that game. Whoever wins that game will be tied or outright lead in the Atlantic Division. And then you have Kyle, as mentioned, with the Outlaws, and Kenneth Bailey with the Panthers. That's going to be a game to watch. Maybe Kyle will take his first loss this week. I know Kenneth Beatty is going to be there and be ready to try to make that happen. Chris Flame with Birmingham is 3-2. Jacksonville, Michael Rodriguez, 3-2. That is a game that to watch this coming week. Going to be a really good one. Whoever wins that game will be right there with Memphis Showboats in first place in the South. And then Memphis and Tampa. Tampa is 0-5. Brian Tracy trying to win his first game against Memphis and take them down in a big upset. That is one to watch this week. Y'all guys have a great week.